We're in England and we're going to talk about a tureen. We're going to talk about a tureen. The item is a household item, not really a decorative item. If it was a decorative item, it would be a vase, for example. And traditionally in the trade, certainly in England, if you have a household item compared to a decorative item of the same quality and age, generally speaking, the household items are worth less. It's the same for plates. This is a Japanese plate. If it was a vase of the same nature, weight, size, age, quality, it would be worth more. Okay. So we know it's a tureen because there is a notch in the lid. It's likely that when it was new, it would have had a matching ladle as well, which would have been all pottery, even the handle. And they do get lost, unfortunately, and smashed. The thing about this tureen is it's from about 1810, 1820, 1830, and it's trying to copy the Imari from Japan. So this is Japanese, made of porcelain, painted in these lovely colours. This is English. So they were serving the same market. This would have come into England about 1890. And this sort of stuff was coming into England for 200 or 300 years before. And until, well, they're still bringing it in now, but you'll find a lot of these plates on the market in England are 1940s, 50s sort of quality. With this, what we've got is an English item for use in the household. It's tableware, it's servingware. It would have been, this one I would have had to pick a date, I would say 1820. And it's made of ironstone. Ironstone is pottery, ordinary pottery, with a white colour. It is similar to porcelain. This is porcelain. Porcelain is more glass-like. If you smash it, it literally breaks like glass. This stuff is similar. It's not as bright as porcelain, and it's slightly more granular inside. So it's ironstone, and this one here is made by SPODE. SPODE is still, I think it's owned by Portmeirion. SPODE is still one of the most famous English pottery companies. They were famous for the Blue Italian range and still make that now. So this is stone china. And what they're trying to do is they're really trying to mimic the Chinese pottery and the Japanese pottery. So this is the tray. This plate is a big plate. It's made of this ironstone, and you will find other ironstones. Masons is the other manufacturer in England who made ironstone, which is very famous as well. There's Copeland, there's Devonport, there's Wedgwood, there's other people making the same sort of stuff. And all these manufacturers were exporting it as well, to America, for example, even to France. And so they're very similar. If you look them up, you'll see that when this was a contemporary design, a new design, there were lots of different competing firms making very similar things. This is the tray. This was used for carrying the tureen when it was full of soup or whatever. And it would have been a heavy item to carry. And it would contain about 5 litres of food, hot food. But this plate, this tray, has got this ridge. So it's not an ordinary plate or charger, and it stops the tureen from being spilt by the person carrying it, and it would have been a servant. For a tureen like this, of this quality, it would have been a servant carrying it from the kitchen to a serving table in a dining room. That's the sort of way it would have worked. Or possibly from the kitchen straight to the dining table, more likely to the serving table. The item is made partially in a mould. It is finished by hand. It is hand painted. It is real gold decoration. It is really, really sumptuous. The thing about this tureen set of 3 items, lid, body, tray, unfortunately no ladle. The thing about it is it's not damaged. That's the sound you want to hear. There is no damage. That has a mark on it. There is a chip, but that is really part of the manufacturing. It's under the sort of finish. It is an inherent feature of item. It's one of the things like a firing crack or a bubble in the glaze. It's just one of the things that came with it. We have the body. It does say on this as well, SPODE is impressed. So we know it's not married. It also fits the socket in between the rim. The handles are not damaged, and the handles are not glued or stapled. You can see the seam here where two halves have been joined, so they've used a press or a mould of some sort. The gold is rubbed on the handles because it's been used. Notice it's got trim on the inside of the rim, which you wouldn't see unless you were using it. So that would indicate maybe it was also used on a table. So you've got the decoration on all the sides, you've got decoration on the foot. This is what's known as a footed tureen. No damage. Beautifully ground off flat bottom. So you can see how they've made it. That's quite a big thing, and it fits really nicely onto the stand. As I say, it's all the way around decorated. This is the lid with the notch for the tureen. It has a matching pattern. It has a stamp as well, which says SPODE something. I think it's a SPODE Ironstone. So it's the same stamp as the transfer on the bottom. That is a lovely lid. It's domed. It's generous for the border. Real gold on the handle. Super. This is a lot of money in England. It's £800. It's difficult to move around. A lot of people don't want them because a lot of people don't know they exist, and a lot of people don't want them because they're tableware. But that's a really good one. Few remain, and in America they're popular right now. For example, there are more collectors perhaps in America who are hunting these than in England. So we'll very quickly look at this Imari plate, just as a finished circle. One of the pair. The design is the same as many of the other ones. It lacks a border here, so it's not first division. And if it was bigger, it would be better. And it would be better if there was smaller detail, and it would be better if there's more gold on it. But that is still a nice Imari plate. It's Japanese. It's got a scalloped shape, not just an ordinary plate. You've got a shaped side. You've got painting on the back. No mark on it, as is often the case, but this is obviously a good example. So we've talked about porcelain. We've talked about ironstone. We've talked about the fact that England was trying to copy the exotic designs from Japan. The Japanese, to a degree, were copying the Chinese, but not necessarily. They had their own stuff as well. So if we're buying this stuff, condition is important. But apart from the age and condition, that is a nice looking item. Okay, hopefully that's been interesting. Thank you.